You know, for my entire life, I've always felt most at peace in nature, in the quiet grandeur of America's sacred land. I've hunted with my friends. I've camped, fished, hiked, and stood in awe of what this country has to offer. And not behind some velvet rope, but out in the dirt, the woods, the wilderness. Public land is the last truly democratic thing we have. It doesn't matter if you're rich or broke, black or white. You can pitch a tent under the stars. You can fish in a mountain stream. You can watch your kid catch their first bluegill. But there's a war being waged on that freedom, and it ain't by socialists. So let's talk about what the hell is going on in Washington. Again, Republican Senator Mike Lee of Utah, a guy who loves to cosplay as a gun-toting founding father, has introduced legislation that would allow the federal government to offload thousands of acres of public land to private interests. This is all part of a broader GOP agenda. Chip away at America's public lands piece by piece until there's nothing left but luxury resorts, gated ranches, and oil rigs. Now, these lands belong to us, hunters, fishers, backpackers, people who don't own private islands, families who want to take their kids to see a bison before they vanish like the glaciers. But apparently Mike Lee and his rich friends think it's time we hand over what's ours so they can have more. It's hunting for me and not for thee. Now let's be clear, this isn't just about Utah. The Trump administration, during both his first term and his current one, have made deregulation of public lands a top priority. Back in 2020, they gutted protections for Bears Ears and Grand Staircase Escalante. Now they're rolling back environmental reviews, fast-tracking leases for oil and gas drilling, and green-lighting logging operations that would make even 19th century robber barons blush. This month alone, over 9 million acres of public land were opened up to commercial development under a new executive order from the White House. And guess what? Those oil and gas companies, the ones who already enjoy billions in subsidies, they're buying it for pennies on the dollar. Here's the part that really burns me. The GOP loves to wrap themselves in the legacy of Theodore Roosevelt, right? Big mustache, big stick, big hat, Rough Rider, father of the national park system. You go to CPAC and every Republican is wearing camo and talking about protecting the American frontier. But Teddy Roosevelt, a man who literally fought to preserve this country's wild spaces, he'd be rolling in his grave watching Republicans auction off the soul of the American wilderness so their donors can build a luxury pheasant lodge in elk country, of the last places where everyday Americans can breathe free. Mike Lee's bill, it's not some isolated incident. It's the latest chapter in a decades-long playbook. Undermine the idea that public land is sacred. Starve the agencies that protect it. Say the government is inefficient, and then privatize it. It's happening right now, quietly, relentlessly. And when it's gone, it's gone. You don't get that land back. The irony is so rich. The so-called party of the people is making damn sure the only people who be able to enjoy the wilderness are the ones who can afford to buy it. They tell you they care about freedom, but what they really mean is freedom for the wealthy, freedom to buy your national parks, freedom to frack your forests, freedom to shoot birds on their private ranches while you're locked out of your own backyard. If you give a damn about this country, and not just the idea of it, but the dirt, the trees, the trails, the rivers, now's the time to speak up. Call your rep. Join a conservation group. Show up at public hearings. Because when these politicians say the land doesn't belong to the people, they're talking about you. And if you don't fight back, the next generation of Americans won't be pheasant hunting or fly fishing. They'll be looking at a no trespassing sign or a trailhead. I'm Michael Fanone, and this fight isn't left or right. It's about what we leave behind.